Bitcoin breaks out to new highs and the altcoins are waking up. Is this the start of the next parabolic rally? I'll share the charts with you. And Ripple partners with BNY Mellon, America's oldest bank, to custody its stablecoin reserves. And the tokenization market has crossed $25 billion. I'll give you all the details. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome into the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. I'm your host, Tony Edward. On your way in, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. Folks, I'm sure many of you saw Bitcoin surge past $112,000, but just by a little bit. It went to about $12,150, so breaking the all-time high, but just by $100 or so, right? But we're seeing life. We're seeing upward momentum, bullish momentum here, and this is very good. At the time of recording, Bitcoin has pulled back and it's at $111,409. So this is in line with the thesis I've been sharing with you guys over the past 6 months, that the bull market is not over despite tariff fears, tariff crash, this war, that, despite all the FUD you see in the comment section, people sharing bearish sentiment but not sharing data or facts with you. I've been sharing chart analysis, on-chain data, macro data, and much more to give you the full lay of the land. And I hope you stuck with me here. I hope you've been paying attention and we're seeing the thesis play out here that the bull market is still intact. So let's go through a few things. Bitcoin on the move here. And if we look at, let's say, a Fibonacci model on the current price action, Bitcoin's next major target could be $120,000, which is the 1.618. Now, it's not going to be a straight line up, folks. You got to expect volatility. You don't be surprised if Bitcoin retested some respective price points before breaking out. I'm not saying it will do that. I'm just saying there's a probability. We don't have a crystal ball, but we're looking at probabilities. Which has the higher probability of playing out? And as I've been saying, the bullish scenario has the higher probability. Anything is possible, black swan events and so forth, that can invalidate the thesis, but all the signs were there, all the data and facts were there supporting the bull market thesis. Now, Bitcoin is stair-stepping its way out of the correction it has been in and the sideways consolidation. And you can see clearly on the charts here, you're with your own eyes, higher highs and higher lows. It's stair-stepping its way out. And, it may run up to, let's say, 116, pull back and then make a move to 120,000. It could go higher. Once again, I don't have a crystal ball, but I do have a profit taking plan. So I'll be taking some profits on Bitcoin at 120K. And then, as it keeps climbing, let's say to the 2.618, which is about 135,000, taking profits there. And then we've seen in the past the 3.618 being the top zone for Bitcoin, which is about 150,000. So let's see how this all plays out. But we have a clear breakout. Bitcoin is broken out of the downtrend. It broke out of a bull flag. And here, Chris from Crypto, he highlighted that, saying the Bitcoin bull flag breakout has been confirmed. That's a very good sign. And as I've been sharing with you, what the blockchain backer has been sharing is that the fractals for Bitcoin, even for gold and so forth, align with what's happening here, and that we would be seeing a breakout very soon. And here it is. Now, he was also saying there needs to be a narrative, some sort of catalyst to drive the markets parabolic. So expect some big news coming out soon. Maybe it's macro, maybe it's the Fed signaling they're going to do QE, maybe not immediately, but months from now. And markets are forward looking, so the markets are going to go bananas, right? Because they know the easy money cycle is here, because we went from quantitative tightening, which was rate hikes and less liquidity in the markets, to rate pauses, to rate cuts, and we've seen liquidity injections here and there from the Treasury and the Treasury General Account. And the eventual destination, as we all know, is money printing, quantitative easing, full-on printing money, because they just passed the spending bill. How do you pay for that, right? $5-6 trillion. It's the same story, different cycle, folks. So this is why you don't get caught up so much in the narrative, some mainstream media, but look at the data, look at what the Fed is doing, because they're not caught up in nonsense and fear. And you guys have been seeing in the comment section, people saying it's a bear market, it's over. You see, I told you, the bearish divergence and all kinds of crap, right? From idiots who are just sharing sentiment, not sharing chart analysis and facts. I've been sharing the on-chain data, the macro, the charts, and what's happening overall in the markets with you to give you the full lay of the land, right? Many of you know that. For months and months, I've been sharing with you guys, and there's been clowns in the comment section, trying to come after me, but I'm just sharing the data. So they can't dispute the data. So they use feelings and emotions. Now, like I said, expect volatility, but there are some other signals that we're seeing that are validating this. Bitcoin dominance, as you can see on the chart, is starting to break down. That doesn't mean that Bitcoin won't pump. In fact, when Bitcoin dominance starts breaking down, we see the altcoins come alive, but Bitcoin still continues to pump. That's the first signal there, right? If you look at Tether dominance, it's starting to show red candles again. And this is the stablecoin liquidity that will start flowing into Bitcoin and altcoins. So again, data points. I'm not making this up. This is information you can go pull up yourself on TradingView. And then when you look at the altcoins, specifically XRP, which has been a leader among altcoins starting in Q4 of last year, it has awoken. It is currently moving. It is back over the 200-day moving average. For my long-term listeners, what have I said? When you're comfortably above that 200-day moving average, it's bull market territory. When you are below it and you're in a downtrend, that's bear market territory. Now, you can see here on the chart that Bitcoin and altcoins sometimes dip below that moving average, but they stay close to it. That's the point. They stay close to it and then they reverse, right? And we've been looking at even the stock market, the S&P 500, when that did a V-shaped recovery and crossed the 200-day moving average, putting us back in the bull market zone. See how all these things are aligning here, guys? It's beautiful. And then when you look at the total 3 for the altcoins, it has broken out as well. So these are the beginning stages of the next rally. You go to CoinMarketCap and you see some green across the board. Now, I'm not saying you call home and you blast it out there on the streets that, hey, bull market, we're gonna pump tomorrow 120,000 XRP $5 tomorrow. Obviously, it's a process. So be patient. We're gonna see further confirmation. The market will stair step its way up, folks. But it's exciting to see life here. And one of the major macro factors and catalysts I've been sharing with you guys is global liquidity, which continues to rise. And Bitcoin, a lot of people were spreading FUD. Look, Bitcoin's deviating from it. Ha, 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 right? That was the bearish most of the time. Bitcoin with this move is showing that it's about to run up again with global liquidity staying on track. It's not a perfect, every spike, every dip is going to align. It's more directional. Now, what's interesting, global liquidity is showing a top right now at about $165,000. And that is about in November. So could we see Bitcoin in the short term run to 125,000, which is the 1.618 that I just shared with you guys? Pullback, healthy pullback, right? Altcoins will follow Bitcoin, so you can see altcoins maybe make some new highs, but that's not the end of the bull market if we're looking at global liquidity. Now, there can always be deviations. However, I believe the higher probability is for Bitcoin and the risk assets to continue to follow global liquidity. But there's of course, the small probability that there's deviations. So I want to make sure I give you the nuance here and the caveat, if you want to call that. So let's see how this plays out. But if everything goes according to the directional move here, we could see Bitcoin go up to about 160,000. Maybe it hits 170. It overshoots global liquidity, right? But that would put a blow off top, it looks like here, about Q4 in November timeframe. So just be mentally prepared. I'm going to continue to give you guys updates on the podcast, in my newsletter, on my live streams, and so forth as we get closer so we know what to do. But make sure you have a profit-taking plan. Even if you don't hold Bitcoin, we're using Bitcoin as the measuring stick to help us figure this out, to give us a roadmap as to the direction of where altcoins are going to head. So this is looking good. And, another factor, as I mentioned earlier, the stock market, also bullish, also hitting new all-time highs. Yeah, we're in a bear market, right? According to people in the comment section, the FUDsters. Yeah, the stock market hits new highs in the bear markets, right? And look at this. NVIDIA becomes the first company to hit $4 trillion in market value. Yeah, those things happen in bear markets, right? Companies hit the high valuations in bear markets. That is not a bear market activity, right, guys? So we are seeing liquidity continue to move. Ignore the noise and the FUDsters. Just look at the data. I didn't make anything up. I just showed you guys straight up facts, Straight up facts here. Global liquidity, the charts. Obviously, the other thing I've been sharing with you guys is what Bitcoin whales are doing. On-chain data from Sentiment shows wallets with 10 or more Bitcoin continues to rise. So they're accumulating, they are bullish, and they are anticipating higher prices. And as you saw in my recent newsletter, and if you didn't, make sure you subscribe. It's 100% free. If you put the Elliott wave analysis on the total market cap, you can see here we still got ways to go, and the macro fifth wave is not complete. Even the Fibonacci, the 4.236 extension for the total crypto market cap, that has not been completed. So we still got ways to go, but this is the blow off top phase. And when I say that phase, that could last 6 to 7 months. So I'm not talking next week or even a month from now. So just understand what I'm saying, please, right? The timeline and the nuance of the timeline is so important to make sure you understand. But guys, get your cash out plan ready. Be prepared. I'm saying this because I know there's a lot of new people in the market, and this thing can go very quickly. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, we're in a downtrend? And then it's like, oh, you know what I mean? We want to catch the top zone. No one can catch the exact top. I can't tell you the exact top for all these assets. I don't know what it is, but I can say, hey, the signals and the charts show we're in that top zone that we could top out very soon. Start cashing out if you do plan to cash out, if you know what I mean. So folks, I like what I'm seeing here. Now, quick word from our sponsor, and that is Uphold. Uphold is a great crypto platform that makes it easy to buy, sell, and stake your crypto. I've been a user of Uphold since 2018. You can trust them. I've never had any problems or issues. I've interviewed the CEO, the CFO, many folks. They have over 300 plus cryptocurrencies. They have staking for 20 plus crypto assets. And folks, they are fully reserved. They don't commingle or lend out your crypto funds. You can review their transparency report. And once again, I've never had any issues with them. And they have a great rewards program where you can earn up to 5.25% on stablecoins. And this rewards program also gives you early access to new tokens that they list. Now, the stablecoins they support includes Ripple's RLUSD, where you can earn up to 5%, and USDC, where you can earn up to 5.25%. And folks, in order to participate, you need to open the app once per month, deposit $50 once per month, and trade $50 once per month. Pretty straightforward, great program. So if you'd like to learn more about Uphold, check out the link in the description. Now, folks, today we had the Senate hearing on crypto. There weren't any major takeaways. It was a lot of dialogue, and that's important, right? So don't get me wrong. It's important to have that to educate the members of Congress. So you had Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple's CEO, the folks from Chainalysis, the new CEO of the Blockchain Association, who was a former CFTC chairman, a former CFTC chair. And you had Elizabeth Warren trying to spread her FUD and trying to hold back crypto legislation because of Trump's businesses. And it was just, once again, nothing new to report here. But Brad Garlinghouse tweeted out the following. He said, "Thank you, Senator Tim Scott and the entire Senate Banking Committee for hosting its first hearing on comprehensive crypto market structure legislation today. In a refreshing change from the rhetoric of the Gensler years, every senator affirmed that crypto technology is here to stay and deserves rules of the road. The legislative process is really simple, but we're past the starting line, and that in of itself is a major step that gives me hope that the U.S. can make up for lost ground." So we're seeing progress here. Now, many of you know next week is Crypto Week, where the Genius Act, the Clarity Act, and the anti-CBDC bill will be up for passing in the House. The big one, of course, is the Genius Act, because that will go straight to President Trump's desk because it already passed in the Senate. The Clarity Act, which is the market structure bill, will then have to go to the Senate to be voted on, which will happen in September. So you see how the timeline's working out here with the market and global liquidity and all that, right? It's so interesting how this all plays out. But here's what's happening. This is a new update. U.S. digital assets tax policy getting hearing during Crypto Week. So that was supposed to happen this week, but it got moved to next week, which, the timing makes sense. So the U.S. House of Representatives Tax Committee has set a hearing during Crypto Week to look at tax ideas for the industries. That could be reducing or eliminating taxes on crypto transactions below $600-300. Could they reduce capital gains tax? Man, that will be amazing if they do that, right? So let's see. But the July 16th hearing in the House Ways and Means Committee will focus on helping make America the global crypto capital, according to the panel's Republican leadership. Now, moving ahead, Ripple has partnered with America's oldest bank, BNY Mellon, as the primary reserves custodian for RLUSD, its stablecoin. So they're not holding RLUSD directly, but just the reserves. But this is significant because it shows banking is opening up to the crypto industry versus what happened over the past 4 years. Not only are banks going to service crypto companies, they're launching their own crypto custody, they're launching their own crypto trading, and they're going to launch their own stablecoins. We've seen the talks of all these things happening. And once the legislation's passed, watch the banks start their race towards getting all their services set up. So huge partnership here, guys. America's oldest bank. This is significant. And another milestone for RLUSD is that it crossed the $500 million market cap. So obviously it launched just at the beginning of this year. So it has ways to go to catch up to USDC and obviously Tether, but crawl, walk, run. And as we get stablecoin legislation, I'm sure Ripple, they're going to expand like crazy to try to get more market share. But this is a key milestone for Ripple's stablecoin. Now, look at this, guys. This is great adoption news. Emirates, the airline, has signed a deal with Crypto.com for payments integration. So they're going to be able to accept crypto payments. And here's what Sheikh Ahmed bin Saeed I can't pronounce his last name, but one of the guys here or actually he's the president of the Dubai Civil Aviation Authority. He said this partnership agreement represents a promising step towards our shared ambition to transform travel and commerce. Folks, on and off ramps being built for crypto globally, merchants accepting crypto. Do you see where things are headed? To some people, this is all a scam. This is a Ponzi, right? Because they haven't educated themselves. They read headlines versus going and reading the Bitcoin white paper, understanding what the hell is blockchain. What are the banks doing? What are the stock exchanges doing, right? This is where you have to be curious and intellectually curious to go the extra step and not just sit like sheep listening to mainstream media, because mainstream media is not your friend and they're not there for education. Now, they may tell you some things to have awareness, right? Because you need to know what's the weather, what's happening on the highway, right? There's certain things you need media for, but one thing you shouldn't take from them is financial news and their opinions on certain things, as it relates to what's happening in the world. You have to go read up on the facts. You got to take that extra step, but we are seeing incredible adoption here, folks. Look at this. Revolut seeks $1 billion in new funding at a $65 billion valuation. So the London-based company is among a growing number of fintech firms leading into faster crypto-native payment systems. So Revolut has been dabbling in crypto for many years, and you're going to see a lot of IPO this year, guys. We're still in the bull market, like I've been saying. And that's why we saw Circle do an IPO recently and other companies going public. So let's see what they decide to do. But you can see these folks are raising money to expand their footprint. Everybody's in a race to try to grab as much market share because this technology, this asset class is the future. Now, final news item here, Securitize, which helped BlackRock launch their tokenized fund, they are reporting that a real-world asset tokenization market just broke an all-time high, surpassing $25 billion for the first time ever. They said Securitize is leading the charge on the way to $1 trillion. They're going to get to 1 trillion very fast. Yesterday, I talked about how Robinhood CEO, he's engaging with the SEC to try to get clarity on tokenization. They're all chomping at the bit to tokenize stocks and commodities because that's going to unlock a truly global market, more liquidity coming in from all parts of the world, 24/7 trading and much more. So, guys, do you see where the direction the puck is heading in? We want to skate to that direction. Things are heating up. Be patient. I know a lot of you want to see higher prices. I do too. I got skin in the game. I got financial goals. I have personal ambitions. I need that money too. But there's a path to it. So just understand that, right? And that I see often there's a misconception that people see positive news and they're like, oh, the price must pump. No. That's not how it works. It depends if the liquidity and the cycle and the sentiment align with that positive news. Because if we are in a downtrend correction, no positive news is going to pump the market. But if we are in a uptrend, kind of like what we're in right now, and some positive news comes out, it's going to send the markets going up. So understand that nuance, right? And understand the macro thesis, as have that as your foundation. Because if you don't, you're going to be in the wind of the emotions of the market. And that's what I've been trying to share with you guys. And hopefully it's helpful. I've been sharing in my newsletter as well. And speaking of that, folks, be sure to subscribe to my free email newsletter. It's 100% free. Link will be in the description. It's on Substack. Check out my new course at mycryptocourse.com. This is a comprehensive course that teaches you every aspect of crypto. And also check out my book on Amazon. It's available in paperback and digital. Folks, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate you all, and I'll talk to you all later.